So here's the question that you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself this question right now, guys. Personally, what am I willing to do, alter or change in my life right now? What sacrifice or change am I willing to make that transition? What transition? That big transition from job and time mentality to business owner, right? So over here, you're working a job, you're trading time for money. But how do you get over here to where you're building a successful business, being a successful real estate entrepreneur? You're gonna have to make some sacrifice and build some skill sets, which we'll talk about in just a second. But you're already here right now practicing one of these skill sets on the board behind me, which is you've decided that you need to get educated and learn more about the business because you're tired of failing at it. Because somewhere along the line, guys, you had a thought process that went through your head that said, I don't really like my life right now. I don't like my job. I want a better life for myself. In real estate, I heard you can make a lot of money. So you're already following up that thought process with energy, taking action, which is why you're watching this video right now. So congratulations, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. It's partly why I'm filming so many videos, to kind of help you transition and shorten that path to basically becoming successful. So you know if you become successful at real estate, you're gonna have a better lifestyle. But that's if, right? That's a big if. So why do so many people fail at business? Why do so many people jump into real estate and fail? It's because of conditioning, right? We'll talk about that here in just a second. So right now, you go to a job, you trade your time, energy for compensation, right? You go trade your time for a check or a bank wire. Money that comes in that you pay your bills with, you feed yourself, you clothe yourself, you fill your car up with gas, and you live a safe and secure lifestyle. Or is it? Is a job safe? Or is a job risky? Ask yourself right now, is my job risky? Well, what happens if you get laid off? Fired? What happens if your company goes under? What would happen if you lost your plan A and didn't have any other streams of income coming in and you had no plan B, C, D, or E? Or F? Really? What's gonna happen to you? Are you gonna be able to provide for your family? Are you gonna be able to make your bills, pay your obligations that you have, those liabilities in your life that you already agreed to pay? What would happen if you lost your job tomorrow? What would happen if the economy crashed? So guys, it's good that you're here right now learning about multiple streams of income and how to build another one to real estate investing. But in order to be successful, you're gonna have to make some changes, right? Because right now, you've been conditioned after 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the job employment world, and that's not good for being an entrepreneur. So what do I mean? So you've been conditioned to follow the path of least resistance. So you figured out because you're smart, not because there's anything wrong with you or because you have a problem, but more so because you're smart. That over the years, you figured out how to do the absolute least amount of work, expend the least amount of energy possible, but still maintain your job and get compensated the same amount, right? So why would anybody go to work at 8:30 when they can show up at 8:59 and 59 seconds and still be on time? Why would anybody do that? Unless they're smart and understand going the extra mile is gonna get them promotions. Why would you go to the gym and do 150 push-ups if you knew 100 push-ups is gonna get you the exact same result? Why would you do 25 reports at your job a week if you knew 20 reports would still maintain your job employment history at the same basically dollar amount that you're getting paid, right? So why would you do any more work if you're not getting paid more? Why would anybody do that? Nobody's gonna do that. So you get conditioned over the years working at your job to do the minimum requirement possible to keep your job. Now here's the problem. When you jump out in the business world, this is why you're failing, because you're used to being able to do the least amount of work possible and still make it. Now in the job world, that works. In the entrepreneur world, where you're now competing against other competitors and you're now having to create value to the marketplace, this is why you fail. This is why so many people go out there and fail, because they're not willing to or they're not willing to adapt, right? So you're gonna have to create skills for yourself, because the more valuable you are to the marketplace, the more money you're gonna make. So you have to create value for the marketplace, and you do so by creating more skills for yourself, which we're gonna go through here in just a second. So guys, that makes sense. Your job is time for money. Once you go into the business world and the entrepreneur world, you're in a competition, you have to create value, otherwise no one's gonna bring you opportunities. So let's look at some of these skills that I put on the board behind me. 21 skills, guys, and really I could put 40, 50 on there, but I wanna keep this video kind of short. I'll try to go through these quickly and not put too much time on each one, because really we could film a video on each one of these skills. So the first one on the board behind me, guys, is belief. This is the most important one, because if you don't have belief, you will never follow it up with energy, and if you don't have energy, you'll never take action, and action is what creates success. So let's look at it like this. When I started my business, guys, I got beat up pretty bad. I failed horribly. As y'all know, I started with about $25,000, $27,000. Some of y'all know my story. And quickly, I was $65,000 in debt. It took 6 months of working 100+ hours a week to basically end up in this situation without closing a single deal. Now, what does that mean? For those of you who are in the job world and time mentality, that's equivalent to working a 40-hour work week for, what is that, like 18 months straight. Imagine going to your job every single week, 52 weeks a year for the next 18 months, and every single month you didn't get paid at all, but your money dropped out of your bank account $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 a month. That was the toughest part for me, is convincing myself that it was possible, that I didn't ruin my life, and that I wasn't going through bankruptcy, and that I could still make it. So most of y'all jump into the world of entrepreneurship and y'all try for 3 months and quit. Why would you quit after 3 months if it gets tough? 6 months if it gets tough? A lot of y'all went to the college for 4 years to get a job, and then you go into the real estate world or entrepreneurship world or whatever business you're starting, and you're not successful after a year and you quit. How does that make any sense? 4 years at college to go work a job, but 1 year in the entrepreneurship world to change your life forever. This one life that you have and you quit? Think about that, guys. So you need to understand belief, because if you don't believe in something, you're never going to follow up with energy and action. And most people, I see this as an entrepreneur in real estate, is they don't believe in their marketing. Like, if you truly believe consciously and subconsciously that if you send out that last $2,000 in your bank account through direct mail or bandit signs or whatever you're doing to market, that it bring back a deal, after this video is over, you go put that money out into the market and wait for a deal to come back. But you don't. You're scared that you're going to lose that last $2,000, so you hold on to it tightly. If your money's held on too tightly, guys, and you don't let it go out, it cannot bring back more money with it. So you have to believe in yourself, guys. Otherwise, you're not going to follow up and take the necessary action to build a real business. Now, time management, guys, this is very important. If you do not understand time management, your business is going to be chaos. You're going to have no organization. You're not going to be able to arrange closings, being able to arrange contractors getting paid, getting supplies to the properties, making sure your tenants are in, there's so many things that you have to coordinate, and it comes with planning, guys. You need to plan your day out ahead of time or in the morning and have a structured schedule, because if not, you're going to be all over the place and you're going to let other people in an external environment dictate your life and your schedule. So you're going to be reacting instead of proactively planning your day. So if you wake up and you're just answering emails and phone calls as they come in, that external environment controls what you're doing, if that makes sense. Whereas if you plan your day and you plan what time you're going to do things, you're now in control. So millionaires plan things down to the hour. Billionaires, they say, plan things down to the minute. So they have someone plan out their entire day when they're going to be somewhere at this minute, at this minute, at this minute, right? So you need to have time management skills, guys. Otherwise, you're going to basically go out of business pretty quickly. Marketing, self-explanatory. If you're a wholesaler, wholesaling is marketing. If you do not understand marketing for leads, for buyer leads, for seller leads, marketing for raising capital, guys, you're never going to grow a business. You need to understand how to be a marketer. There's a ton of information online about this, free information. Go check it out. Sales is life. Life is sales. If you're not into sales and don't understand sales, selling yourself, selling your product, selling your business, selling your ideas, you're never going to make it. There's a ton of good information out there, guys. A lot of good YouTube channels. Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. Guys, there's a ton of information out there. Go check it out and work on your sales skills, because if you can't sell yourself or your product, you're never going to make it as an entrepreneur, because sales is life. Raising capital, we won't touch on this much, because guys, if you can't raise capital, you're going to go under, because eventually you're going to run out of money. And especially as a real estate entrepreneur, we're a capital intensive business. If you can't raise money, you're not going to make it very far, or you're going to grow very, very slowly, and it's going to get very frustrating. Finance, guys, you need to understand how the world of finance works. Understanding amortization calculators, understanding how owner financing works, understand how to basically wrap a note. Because if you don't understand interest rates, you're going to lose a lot of money, because you're going to pass up on a lot of deals, low equity deals that you could have taken over subject to and wrapped, or whatever you're going to do, guys. You need to understand how interest rates work, because that's very important. And a lot of people do not want to learn this when they jump into real estate, because they're saying, oh, that's scary. I don't like finance. I remember college finance sucked. I don't want to go back to that. But guys, I failed business finance in college twice. When I went out in the real world, I learned it because I realized it had real application purposes and it really affected my income. So guys, learn how to understand financing. Internet. This is what I see a lot of my older students have a problem with. Older individuals getting into business, they don't want to learn internet. They don't want to learn internet marketing, squeeze pages, follow-up systems, autoresponders. They do not want to learn how to do this, because they somehow have this self-limiting belief that they're too old to learn it, because that's the new generation. That's not their generation, guys. If you're getting into business, I don't care if you're 85 years old, you have to learn how to use the internet. Otherwise, you're not going to scale quickly. The internet is the absolute best point of leverage. You have to understand the internet. Social media. Right now, you're watching me on social media. I'm in your house right now. That's pretty powerful, isn't it? What do we do with social media? We do a whole bunch of stuff. We sell our properties, we rent our properties, we find sellers. I can reach out to you and talk to you right now, guys. You have to learn how to do social media. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Guys, if you're scared of social media, this is 2017. Get over it. Learn it. Emotional intelligence. Now, this is something that people don't talk to or talk on enough. Emotional intelligence. How do you react? How do you pick up on people? So I spent basically a decade of my life as a professional poker player. It is all emotional intelligence. So how do I understand how to press or let off when I'm working with employees or working with contractors? It is not always good to get in someone's face and drive if that's not the right response for the present moment. So you need to know when to turn it up or set off, right? So how do I decide if I'm gonna be buddy-buddy with my contractors, or how do I decide if I'm gonna be the dictator boss with my contractors? How do I decide if I'm at a sales presentation whether or not to push or let off? You need to be able to feel the emotions of the people you're working with and understand that emotional intelligence is very, very profitable in your business if you can understand how to increase this skill and pick up on what other people are feeling and what other people are thinking, so you know how to react accordingly. Management, guys, for some of y'all, until you grow, this isn't that important, but you need to understand management, right? Managing your teams, managing your money flow. There's a lot that has to do with managing, and this is a planning business, guys. If you don't understand this, you're gonna get left behind. Self-development, right now you're working on your self-development, you're learning, you're building skills, skill sets, reading the books, listening to audios, the webinars, going to seminars, joining the boot camps, guys. You have to understand these things, getting a mentor. Watch as much, learn as much as you can. The more you learn, you know it, the more you earn. Scheduling, that's the same type of kind of as management. I mean, you have to understand having a schedule. We plan our schedule out either night before or in the morning, so we kind of try to follow it along the path as most aligned to that schedule. But during the day, you're gonna get thrown off. You're gonna have surprises. There's no guarantee that you can follow your schedule today. So if you get thrown off, hop back on schedule as fast as possible. Goal setting, guys. Goal setting are your directions in life. Set your goals, put them on paper. That's how you know what you're trying to attain. If you know your goals and they're not just like, oh, well, I'm gonna try to make $100,000 this year, and you thought it once. You need to look at your goals every day, because this is what motivates you, guys. There's a ton of stuff out there on goal setting. This is universally known within the entrepreneurship world. Know your goals, write them down. Enough said there. Strategic thinking. You need to plan a strategy. You can't just say, well, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of postcards with no message on them, or someone else's message, and I'm just gonna mail them out. Like, you need to know your market, know where you're trying to target. Like, for example, we target specific houses, 1980 and older, because they're more likely to be free and clear, right? So if they put a mortgage on it in 1985 or 1980, and it's 30 years later, and they didn't sell the house, they're now free and clear. Huge equity position. That is a strategy. We're targeting specific types of homeowners, specific age demographics, income demographics. You have to have strategies when you go into your marketing or running your business, and plan ahead of time, otherwise you're going to fail. Leadership. If you're not a leader, your team will never follow you. If you're not a leader, no one will ever work with you. You need to understand how to present yourself as a leader. Guys, there's a lot of great ways to do this. Go read a lot of biographies and autobiographies out there on great people that came before you, and this is gonna help you a lot with that. Patience, you need to be patient, but you need to be aggressively patient. This is a get-rich business, not a get-rich-quick business. You can create long-term generational wealth, but it takes time to stack that money, stack those rental properties, stack those notes. So you have to be patient, but you have to be aggressively patient. You have to work all day, every day, being aggressive in the present moment of the day, but being patient and not being frustrated that things aren't happening as fast as you want, because, you know, really you're gonna overestimate what you can achieve in a couple of years, but most of the time people underestimate what they can achieve in 10, 15, 20 years. And a lot of people wanna get in this business because y'all have money problems, and you heard it's the get rich quick scheme. It is not. Beware the seminar guru, guys. You're not gonna make $1 million this year. Some people may, but very few people will. You're gonna have to take a lot of lucky breaks. So be patient upon your growth, but if it takes you 2, 4, 5, 10 years to get there, guys, most people I see, it takes about 5 to 7 years to become financially free and really retire themselves at a young age. And most people quit within 6 months. So why would you quit if you know it takes most people 5 to 7 years? Think about that. Be patient. Organization, I think we already touched on that, guys, but you need to understand organization within your business. If you are not organized and your office looks like mine, you're gonna have the same headaches that I do. Sometimes it looks like a bomb went off in my office. I have contracts everywhere on the ground, right? So like I have all this paperwork, but it's what's the word? Coordinated organization. Like I know where everything is that I can find it, but if you walked into my office, or if you've ever walked into a title company, guys, and you see their desk, you're like, oh my gosh, should I really let these people close my house? Because look how dirty their office is. Guys, you need to understand how to organize things, and this is what having a good assistant can help you do. Planning. If you're not planning, which we already talked about earlier, with strategic thinking, you need to understand how to plan your day, plan your week, plan your month. The further you get in your mind ahead as far as being able to plan out in the future, the more successful you're gonna be. So people who plan 1 day ahead are not as successful as people who can sit there and plan a month ahead, plan 2 months ahead. So have your planner, have your schedule, have everything down. Plus it's gonna relieve a lot of stress if you know exactly where you need to be at exactly what time, because you're just following the step-by-step routine of the day that's already planned out for you, instead of trying to figure out what you're gonna do. So how many of y'all have woken up early in the day and you start working and you're in the middle of the day and you're just like,
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then you just try to fill time by answering an email or something. Guys, plan your days. Health. If you do not work on your health, and you do not work on your vitality, you're never going to survive and be able to work long days. How do I work 16-hour days? Well, it's not even hard for me anymore. I built up an endurance. I built up this skill set, right? So I used to not be able to work 8 to 10 hours without collapsing, without having to take naps. Now 16 hours is nothing. When I started working out, I could barely bench press 135 pounds. I didn't just get up to where I was able to lift a lot of weight by just saying, oh, I'm gonna be stronger tomorrow. You have to work at your health. You have to work on your endurance. You have to work on your diet. You have to have more energy to be a successful real estate entrepreneur, because I promise you other people are out there doing this. And if you don't wanna work on your basically endurance, you're never gonna be able to work enough hours to really grow that business that you want. Self-discipline and control. That's pretty self-explanatory, guys. If you do not have any self-discipline, you're never gonna make it. For example, you need to be able to make sure you don't make stupid mistakes. You need to be able to slow things down in the present moment and say, is this a bad decision or is this a smart decision, right? A lot of people get into a situation where they have an opportunity to screw a partner. But if you do, are you really screwing yourself, right? You need to understand just how to be a good person, have self-control, have self-discipline, control your sleep patterns. There's a lot that has to go into self-discipline, guys. We don't have time to get into that. We need to wrap this video up. The work ethic, I'm gonna leave it up with, or finish up with this one, guys. If you do not work enough hours, you cannot produce enough in the marketplace to get the return that you want. You cannot work an hour a week on top of your job. You cannot work a couple hours a week. Most entrepreneurs, if you're not working 60 hours a week when you start your business, are gonna fail. A lot of people work 80 to 100 hours. Are you gonna work this way forever? No. Why? Because of passive income. Eventually you're gonna build up enough cash flow, passive income, that you're financially free, that if you don't ever wanna work again, you don't have to. But in those first couple years of your business, guys, you have to work hard. You have to work really, really hard. I can't stress this enough, guys. So that's about 21 skills, guys. Really, we could go over 40, 50 skill sets, but I don't wanna be here all day. And you need to go out there and practice some of these and start building some of these skill sets, guys. If you like today's video, hit the like button, share it around, comment, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.